The fiscal year 2022 state budget has passed the Oklahoma Senate. It is now heading to Stitt's desk, which I think I saw a rumor that he might veto it, which I'm not entirely clear what that's about. I'm sure there's like Stitt's a 100% win at all costs type guy, so I'm sure there's like one thing his little baby brain didn't get, so he's gonna throw a hissy fit and cancel the whole thing. But the big takeaways on the budget, and reacting from a lot of the Democrats, is that the budget, they had a lot of money because of the coronavirus relief money and because the economy isn't as bad as people thought it was going to be. So they were conservative in their estimates, and now they're coming back and saying, oh, well, turns out not as bad as we thought. So there's a lot of extra money. And one of the things is that they've increased funding to like education and some other stuff. But what they are not doing, or what they are also doing, is tax cuts for the ultra wealthy. What this does is kind of continues the shift in inequality, because when you take a system like the state budget and you bake in things that only benefit the ultra wealthy, over time it just tilts the table. And like, we don't have a problem in America of the ultra wealthy not doing well. You know, it's not like the wealthy are struggling in this country. We have the highest income inequality.
Bezos could have used a slightly longer yacht. I feel like you hate him.
Right.
I feel like
or maybe a slightly longer. What was he? He needed a second yacht for his main yacht.
Yeah, I think he got a yacht in a yacht. That's balling. You got a yacht in a yacht. That's like, remember that Chappelle's kid Cribs? I got a yacht in a yacht. Like, that's absurd. It was a penny. I'm sorry, but how fucking delusional do you have to be after a pandemic? Like, you know what I want? I'm gonna get a yacht. I'm gonna put a yacht in that bitch. Like, what are you doing? But I like it.
Well, and then too, I mean, they increased common education by more than 210 million, but then they also increased this thing called the Equal Opportunity Scholarship Program, which is basically just a slush fund for well-off people to be able to donate or sideline money and get it back for education. So, I mean, it's basically a subsidy to private schools, which you don't have to be an economist to know that the people who utilize private schools are mostly wealthy people. So it's like, for everything that they do, and also I should point out that like 90% of kids go to public schools. So when you're only giving 4 times as much to the public schools, I mean, that 50 million goes a lot further for the 10% of kids who go to private school versus the 90% that go to public schools here. I mean, it's just all these little subtle things that just tilt the scale more and more for the wealthy, powerful, connected people that don't need it. And so, I mean, even stuff like anytime you see economic development funding, that always means we're going to give more money to rich people to do what they were probably going to do anyway. They did restore the earned income tax credit refundability, which is great. I mean, that is a direct subsidy to low-wage workers, even though it's got some wonky stuff that leaves out some of the extreme poor. Voters voted to expand Medicaid, so I'm not giving that to them because fuck you guys. You had to fund that by the Constitution of the state of Oklahoma, so you don't get any, kudos for that. Like, that's the voters of Oklahoma. And then, just some other random stuff. But the big thing is like, I think these 2 tax cuts, which again overwhelmingly help the wealthy, will pull $100 million out of the state budget in future years, which in a state that underfunds everything, it's really stupid. Like, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. And again, just tilts the table. Like, we just keep tilting the table more and more to people that don't need the table tilted at all.
The budget is the priorities, right? If you show me unfortunately, we have made money so we've prioritized it so much in our society that a person's budget is a great indicator of their priorities, right? Now, if you're a person who doesn't make a lot of money, I don't actually believe that because we haven't given you adequate resources to budget. But for a state, for a country like this one, spends $750 billion a year on the military-industrial complex. Those are our priorities compared to what we spend on literally anything else, right? And so the priorities of the state of Oklahoma, coming out of a fucking pandemic, are let's give wealthy people a little bit more money. That, by the way, it's such a minuscule. It's going to cost the state immensely, but for wealthy, I mean, like, listen, bro, I ain't balling like that. But is that 0.25? Like, is that gonna make your day like that? I mean,
it's literally $250 for every $100,000 in income you have. So I mean, like, so for $1 million, so if you made $1 million last year, you're gonna get $2,500 back in taxes. Like that's more. I mean, that's less money than you probably spent on your urban farmhouse table that you got for your living room. You know, like, it's like 1/10 of the kitchen remodel you're planning in the spring. You know, like it's nothing. I mean, it is to say it's a trivial amount to these people is. I mean, you can't overstate it. Like, it's completely trivial to them.
And that's Oklahoma's priorities. They would rather give a trivial amount of money to millionaires than while taking a substantial amount of money away from the rest of us, right? I mean, you say, oh, it's a state budget that merely costs $100 million. Well, they slashed mental health care by $15 million more dollars, right? Yeah. So that is not. And oh, by the way, we live in Oklahoma City, our largest city, can't seem to stop killing people, the police department. So maybe investing in mental health will help there. Maybe investing in mental health will help physical health. Maybe investing in mental health more will have all of these positive effects. You want people to go to work? One way they should probably, if they had some mental health assistance, they'd probably help them out a little bit, Kevin. So like all of those things. And oh, by the way, let's not. All of us have been scarred by the last year in ways known and unknown, right? This is going to have a substantial impact on our mental health in a myriad of ways. You, me, all of us, in ways we cannot know yet, do not know yet. The state of Oklahoma decided now to slash an already shoestring mental health budget by $15 million more, knowing now more than any time of the past several decades, people need all of us need access to mental health care after the year we just had. And the priorities of the state of Oklahoma, knowing that, are to give wealthy people a trivial amount of money at the expense of all of us.
This all makes me so sick. I hate it. There's like no part of this, it's like Nick was saying, like, oh, we got this little expansion and we're like, woohoo, but it's like that took hard work from activists, from organizers to get that vote to where it needed to be.